Good morning. Thank you for coming. Where are my designers at? That was lame. Where are my designers at? Stand up. You are Vikings, damn it. Where are my designers at? Come on, let's do it. I am a designer, and I am here to help you because we share a craft. And I care about that craft. It is an important craft, an honorable craft, and a craft that, when practiced right, can mean a better life for the people who come in contact with our work. So it's worth practicing right. And I know all of you feel the same way, or you wouldn't be here. I have some incredibly bad news for you, though. You have been lied to. You have been deceived. You have been told fictions, falsehoods. You have been sold a bill of goods. You, my dear brothers and sisters, have been bamboozled. Your design professor told you that if you just followed good design basics, if you just kept it simple, if you made it Swiss enough, if you kept it to a tight little grid, people couldn't help but be swayed by it. He was wrong. The hippies from Finland told you that if you just lovingly crafted it, if you stayed true to yourself, if you meant it more than anyone else did, if you just poured your heart into it, then no one could not be swayed by how pure your heart light was. And that doing what you love was the utmost calling a designer could aspire to. And they were full of shit. Your design school taught you that if you could talk about your work with other designers and formally critique it with other people who share your craft, that would be enough. But designing for designers is bullshit. They're releasing designers into the world that don't know how to earn a living. Staying alive is not a soft skill. They stole your money. And their sin may be the biggest sin of all. Your design education was terrible. You were told that good design sells itself. You were told that good things come to those who wait. You were told that quality rises to the top. You were told that making was enough, that your place was in front of a screen. They labeled you a creative. They gave you a panda hat. And they told you to go find inspiration. They fucked with you. Does good design sell itself? Fundamentally, no, it does not. Selling design is a core design skill. You should be able to explain every single decision that you have made to a client. And you need to be there to answer those client questions. You need to be there to receive their feedback. You need to be there to see the look in their eye when they see your work for the first time, the second time, the third time. And you cannot leave this to somebody else to do. You need to be there because when the client says, change this to blue, Bob, the account manager, is going to write down, tell the guy in the panda hat to change this to blue. But only you Only you will know to ask, what are you hoping to accomplish by changing this to blue? Because that is a design question, and a designer has been trained to ask design questions. So, let's take a look at the 13 biggest mistakes that designers make during client presentations. And let me just start off by telling you, I have made every single one of these. I still make some of them. I strive to make less of them every day, and I know that you do too. Mistake number 1 is not editing for your audience. And since we have 25 minutes today, we got 7 mistakes. If you want the full 13, you can come to our workshop tomorrow. Mistake number 1, you are not there to be the client's friend. Clients are not lonely. They did not hire you to be their pal. They hired you to solve a business problem. The client hired you because you are the expert in what you do. They hired you because they have a business need, whether it's to sell more sprockets or to get people to sign up for their silly service. They hired you because you have a skill they do not have. You need to get used to that because that is your value in the relationship. And in hiring you, they have acknowledged that you have an expertise and a value in the relationship. You have been brought in to add your expertise to the client's expertise in order to help them accomplish a goal. What they did not hire you for was to make them happy or to be their friend. There are other people that you can hire to do that, and a designer is not one of them. Your decisions should revolve around meeting the client's goal, not pleasing them. And while you should do everything in a nice, pleasant, friendly manner, because nobody likes working with a jerk, never conflate helping a client achieve a goal with making them happy. They can be happy later after all of that good work that you do launches. And clients, God bless them, and I love every one of them, they have this incredible way of asking you to do things that run counter to achieving the goal that they hired you for. Your job is to convince them otherwise, because in the end, they're going to be better served if you see yourself as the expert they believe they hired. That means that you need to present yourself as the expert they believe they hired. And while this may result in some very uncomfortable conversations during a project, having those uncomfortable presentations are part of the job. Doing the wrong thing, doing something that you know will not work because they are asking for it, only results in a more uncomfortable conversation 6 months down the road. 6 months down the road, you're going to have a conversation with these people about why you did a thing you knew didn't work, why it tanked their business, why half their team got laid off. And that is a much more uncomfortable conversation to have than the one you can have right now. Mistake number 2, not getting off your ass. A client should never have to guess who is leading a design presentation. Do you guys know who this is? That's right, it's an old person. This is Sully Sullenberger. In 2009, Sully Sullenberger, an old person, landed an airplane in the middle of the Hudson River in New York City. That's not something that happens normally. All 155 of his passengers were okay. Has anyone here landed a plane in the middle of a river? Okay, so respect. The amazing thing about this is when the audio from the black box came out, you hear that there's a lot of chaos going on in the cockpit, and then you hear a voice very clearly and very succinctly saying, "My cockpit." And from that minute on, everyone in the cockpit followed Sully Sullenberger's instructions to the letter. They knew absolutely who was in charge. So I want you guys to get used to doing that. I want you all to stand up. Oh, is this not working? I want you to stand up and I want you to say, "My cockpit." My cockpit. My presentation. This is my presentation. My cockpit. I am in charge. I am selling design today. Now sit down because it's my stage. This is your room. And your first job when you enter that room is to inspire confidence. Not just confidence in your work, but confidence in your client that they hired the right person for the job. Every interaction that you have with them is an opportunity to reaffirm that they hired the right person. So get off your ass and lead the presentation. You will seem more confident if you are standing up. But Mike, I am a shy and quiet person. Being shy and quiet is part of my well-crafted designer persona, which I have cultivated over such a long time. Well, isn't that delightful? Isn't that adorable? You know what else you are? You're a goddamn designer. And confidence is part of the job. The meek may inherit the earth, but as George Carlin once said, "They're meek, we'll take it back." Confidence is not about making you feel better. It's about making your client feel better. It's about showing them that they are in good hands. It's about showing them that that big check they wrote had the right name on it. It's about their insecurity. These people have one shot at doing this project right, and they hired you to do it. They worked hard to get that budget approved, and they are worried about what happens when it goes wrong. So they need confidence. Your confidence is about making them feel better. It's about reassuring them, putting them at ease. And that's good for you because the more they trust you, the more willing they are to follow your lead in this project. And the more that they will trust your decisions. Mistake number 3, not setting the stage properly. You have gathered all of these incredibly busy people together. They probably have other things that they would rather be doing. Let them know why they are a necessary and important part of this design presentation. People really like feeling needed. And every single time that you gather people together for a design presentation, you need to be able to answer 2 very simple questions. Number 1, why the hell are we here? Start the meeting by thanking them for their time. Let them know why they're here. Let them know what you're going to be showing them and what kind of participation you need from them. This is your opportunity to make them feel like experts. And they love feeling like experts. Let them know what stage of the project you're in. Give them a brief reminder of what the last stage was and tell them how their participation in this meeting today will help you get to the next stage of the project. And most importantly, everyone's favorite part of a meeting: when the hell can we leave? Let them know what it'll take to end a meeting. If you're looking for design approval, you can start the meeting by saying something vague, something like, I don't know, I'm looking for design approval. And when you get it, the meeting is over. Start wrapping up. Close your laptop. Thank everybody for their time and get the hell out of there. Never give people time to unmake a decision in your favor. Last year, I published this book, You're My Favorite Client. Has anybody here read it? All right, I love you. Anybody else? All right, I love you guys. There's room in my heart to love the rest of you. Anyway, what this book is about client relationships, and it was written with the intent that you would hand it to clients in order to have the best relationship possible with them and help them do their part in making the project go well, and also how to deal with those unruly panda hat wearing designers. And one of the stories in this book is about one of my very favorite clients of all time, Larry. Larry was awesome because Larry loved to fight, which is great because I also love to fight. He was also incredibly open-minded, which is a fantastic combination in a client. You could argue Larry into doing anything as long as you had a good enough argument. So Larry and I would argue all the time. And one time, we're just going at it, and we both wanted to get to the same goal. We were just arguing about two different ways to get there, which, by the way, is 95% of all client arguments. And at one point, Larry just leans back and he says in his very deep Larry voice, "Sold." And like an idiot, I kept arguing. And Larry, to his infinite kindness, Larry let me finish. And then he leaned across the table and he said, "You don't understand. When I say sold, it means you've won. It means you can shut up." Larry taught me a fantastic lesson that day. Once you have gotten what you want, shut the fuck up. Everything beyond that threatens to undo the victory that you just got. Mistake number 4, giving the real estate tour. Let me know if you've ever seen this before. Presentation where a designer puts something up on the screen and goes, up on the top left. I put your logo there. To the right of the logo, I put navigation. It says book. It says check-in. It says manage. And they will go all of the way down the page listing out every single thing that they've put there. Never explain what the client can obviously see right in front of them. They can all see the logo. They can all see the top nav. Pull up. You do not sell a house by talking about the sheetrock. You sell it by getting the buyer to picture themselves in the neighborhood. You get it by getting the buyer to picture their kids playing on the swings in the playground. And you sell the house by scheduling the showing at the same time that the really hot UPS driver pulls up. You sell the benefits of the work. You sell how the work matches the project goals. You sell it by getting the client to see themselves getting filthy, incredibly rich, and walking over the bones of their competition. Let's try this again. So we did some user research, and it turns out people go to your site to buy airline tickets. So we thought we'd make the site about selling airline tickets. That's it. And while every decision on that page should have been made with the benefit of data and good research, people are irrational creatures who do not make decisions based on data. If they did, we would not be reintroducing measles. They make them based on stories. So when you are giving your presentation, find your story and tell your story and get your client to picture themselves as the successful person in that story. Number 5, getting defensive. You are not your work, and your work is not you. Let's do the standing up thing again. I am not my work. My work is not me. I am not my work. My work is not me. I am not a pixel pusher. I am not an order taker. I am a goddamn designer. You can sit down now. What you have done is work product to meet a client's goals. The client is free to criticize that work and tell you whether they feel that it has met those goals or not. You are free to present evidence to the contrary. What you are not free to do is get all butthurt about criticism. This is a job, and you are a professional. So when the client starts critiquing your work, listen to what they have to say. Don't feel like you have to defend all of your decisions then and there. I'm not going to tell you guys to shut up too often, so you should probably pay attention when I do. When a client is giving you feedback, it is an incredibly good time to shut up. Listen to what they have to say. Don't feel like you have to answer everything right away. And then just tell them, this is great feedback, Bob. Let me think about it for a while and get back to you. Mistake number 6, reacting to questions as change requests. I'm sure no one here, including me, has ever done this. Why is this blue? I can change it. Why is the logo small? I can make it bigger. Where is my carousel? I'll add it today. Sometimes a client just has a question, a legitimate question. Sometimes they are just looking for your reasoning. So stop jumping the gun on this stuff. Because when you reply to their very valid question by immediately offering to change the thing that they just saw, you are opening up a huge can of worms. What was just a simple question just became a giant maw of doubt. And every decision that you've made on the project up till now is now in question. Because if you were so quick to give up the ghost on this particular thing, then what other house of straws have you built for these people? And you may be offering to change something that was right, that would work, just because someone had the audacity to ask why it was there. Which brings us to the absolute worst question, the worst mistake that a designer can ask a client. Do you like it? I mean, do you like it like it? If it had a like button on it, would you push it? Dear sweet Lord and heaven above and all of his angels, you just gave away the farm. All of that work that you and your team have done just went out the window. All of that good research at the beginning of the project, wasted. Every hard-won victory up to this point, gone. The client is no longer viewing you as an expert. You are no longer their equal in expertise. You are no longer the person that they feel comfortable enough writing big checks to. You are now reduced down to a small child showing your dad a picture of the cat and hoping that he deems it worthy of pinning to the refrigerator attached by a Las Vegas magnetic bottle opener. Every decision that you made on this project has been made with the benefit of expertise and data and research, and you just uttered the most subjective phrase that can come out of a human being's mouth. And why did you do it? Well, having done it myself, I can tell you why I've done it. Fear. Because way down deep inside, we are simple little animals with lizard brains, and we want people to like what we do. We want them to not hurt us. And the client, for their part, is already feeling incredibly uncomfortable with this whole design process, which they might have never had to do before. But if you've presented it right, you have presented your work in a way that maps to their business goals, which are things they understand. But if you've done it wrong, you have asked them to judge your work the same way that a designer judges work. You have asked them for feedback on grids, colors, type, hierarchy, stuff that they hired you to take care of. And then you throw a giant cherry on top of the whole thing by asking them if they like it. Because if they like it, everything is going to be okay. We can end the meeting, we can exchange pleasantries, we can be friends. But no one hired you to be their friend, remember? The client didn't hire you to make something they liked, and something they liked might not be the thing that meets their success. We are professionals, service professionals, and we are hired to solve problems. Problems that we have the unique skill set to solve. But the minute that we lose sight of our responsibility to solving those problems is the minute that we actually stop doing the thing that we were hired for. The minute we ask for permission to do our job, we're no longer doing it. If you want to make your clients happy, make them successful, do the project right, work with them so that both of you can use your expertise to make the project go right. Respect that they are the expert at their thing and behave like you are the expert at yours. And trust me, I have never, ever had a client come back to me and say, the site is doing well. We've increased revenue. We've got a bigger market share, and I've gotten a promotion. But I am still pissed off that I didn't get that carousel I wanted. Because in the end, it doesn't mean shit. What they didn't want was a carousel. It was success. They had just mapped the carousel to success, and you need to decouple that shit. That's part of the job, and you may have to do this over and over and over during a project, and that's the job too. But Mike, why do you hate designers? You are always yelling at us. You are always telling us what we do wrong. You are always on the client's side in this shit. You make me cry. Nothing could be further from the truth. I love each and every one of you, especially the two dudes that already read my book. But most of all, I love this thing we do, and I know that you love it too, and I want to help you do it right. Because your ability to practice this thing we do depends on what happens in design presentations like this. Work you did not sell is no better than work you did not do. This thing that we do is powerful. It can change people's lives. We have the power to make a difference. Good design is the difference between an automobile that explodes on impact and one where you feel comfortable putting your kids. Good design is the difference between a textbook that makes you care about science and one that turns you off of it forever. Good design is the difference between a blind person being able to tell which denomination of bill they're holding by size. Good design is the closest that we're ever going to get to punching God in the neck. And it needs to be practiced with intent, with resolve, sometimes with a few thrown elbows. Very few people can do what you do. This is a skill. And those who possess that skill have been called into service, because in the end, every fight that we throw, every fight that we are too afraid to have, every fight that we pass on to the people who we have been entrusted to provide good design for, is a failure. In the end, we are the gatekeepers to a better world, and that is worth fighting for. Thank you.
Mike?
I thought I was going to go over enough that I could avoid this.
I have one major question to you now,
All right.
which I reflected on all the time when I listen to you. And that is, have you thought about the fact that you can do this presentation for any kind of business?
Yes, I have.
Do you do it?
No, because these are
Aren't you invited?
these are my people.
Okay.
I work for my people. I am a designer like everyone out there, and I am here to make
You
them
can just
better.
change a few words, and you can do it for finance or retail or lawyers or whoever.
They are not my people.
Okay. Okay. Good answer. Ladies and gentlemen, we're a little behind the time schedule now. I just want to say that I understand why this man got, just a moment, Mike, just a moment, why this man got the award presentation of the year by the Net magazine. Do you understand it? Yes. Mike Monteiro. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.